Hey, church family. Thanks for joining us this morning for our daily devotional right in the middle of the week. I hope that you're encouraged by this today. I will tell you that today is a challenging verse, especially for our context right now in the middle of a pandemic and how so many of the habits that we many times in our lives have built around church have changed, and we're really many of us are learning that maybe we weren't as grounded as we thought we were, or maybe we're finding that we relied so much more on the church than we really thought we did. And so maybe we need to learn to encourage one another in that. And that's exactly what Paul is talking about here in Hebrews 10, verse 25, when he writes, not neglecting to gather together as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging each other, and all the more as you see the day approaching. For sure, as Paul writes this, there were people who, as he says, were in the habit of not gathering together. Perhaps they kind of figured that they could do this Christianity thing on their own. Hey, I don't need the church. I don't need to go to where those people are. I don't need a fellowship with them. Maybe I have an issue with them or something like that. I can do this Christianity thing on my own. I got my Bible here. I've got maybe some online worship tools there or whatever. And so we've just kind of decided we're going to do this by ourselves. And while maybe for a time, especially as we've kind of gone through this pandemic for a time, we thought maybe we could do that or we should do that for a while. Eventually, we've got to gather together, and it's clear here in the scripture that we cannot neglect gathering together. We need that community. We need to encourage one another, and that happens when we're able to get together, and not just get together for the sake of potluck or something like that, but to get together to worship our God. And so I hope that if you have been at home during this whole time, man, my hope is that you are aching to get back, that you're ready to get back and get involved. And maybe you can't right now. Maybe there's health reasons, and that is I get that 100%. So I never want anyone, especially right now, to feel like I'm guilting them or something like that. But my hope is that right now, hey, maybe I have to step away, but when this dies down, I can't wait to get back. Unfortunately, I fear though that there are some, not a ton, but there are some who have kind of taken this as an opportunity to take a break, and they found that they maybe like this break. They've got out of that habit, and so my encouragement to you is, and let's get back involved. Let's think back to what it was like to worship together as believers, and not just that. Let's think back to what it was like and how encouraged we were when we were with other believers, how we could grow in our faith and do that together. And as you do that, man, I hope that you're encouraged to come and worship with us, to be a part of what we're doing, either in D groups or in small groups or even in large worship. I mean, whatever it may be, my hope is you're encouraged to be back and be a part of that, just as Paul is encouraging his people here to gather together. Our author gives us a couple of questions here that we can look at. The first is, why do so many people today believe belonging to a church isn't essential? And the second question, why is it so important to be regularly involved in a church? Then we've talked about some of those things there. You know, the fact that we are encouraged, we can grow together. What about the fact that that's what we're told to do in Scripture, that Christ has told us to be a part of the church, that the New Testament writers constantly encourage us to be a part of the church? I'm starting to answer your question for you, and I apologize for that, but I hope that you will take some time to think through those two questions. What are the reasons why people don't think, some people believe it's not necessary to be a part of the church? And why is it so necessary? And I hope as you're doing that, it'll help you shore up your own ideas about that. And church family, as you're working through that, we want you to know that we love you and we're praying for you.